Hello, faculty and adjunct faculty teaching the BUSN 1315 Leadership course for Southwest Tennessee Community College. This video is for instructors teaching this course, and it's created as of the 2022 fall semester and hopefully will apply going forward a few semesters. What I wanted to do is to take a moment to introduce you to, let me move out of this, to the materials that are in PAWS. These materials will be available to you after the cloning date, but I wanted to go ahead and kind of give you an overview of the materials now. When your students log in and when you log in to PAWS, you will see on our course main page the book information. Now there's information here because the course participates in what's called the DEI or Inclusive Access, or it's been called Include Ed program, which simply means that when students enroll in the course, they are automatically charged a volume discount price for their ebook. Now, some students may want a printed book. They can order that at an additional cost, but most students get along great with the ebook. Now, how do they access the ebook? Here's some information down here. There's an app, but also the assignments that are in Connect are one of them actually is the book. It's called a Smart Book, and it's interactive. It has questions, but it is the book. It looks just like the pages of the book, and they can go through and read, but it's better than the printed book because it will have videos, for example, embedded in the pages. Very interactive, and it sparks purposeful reading because you're answering questions as you go. Now, we'll talk more about that in a separate video. I'll continue on. Here's the course information, and you want to give your students contact information. So click on this drop-down box when you have access to your course and click Edit. I'll do that. All you have to do is select, your text, type your name, right? Your preferred contact information. If you have an office location or perhaps a preferred meeting location, you can also use the department office if you need to meet there. I'm going to cancel this, but I did want you to see how to edit that. And I'm going to go back. You can click across the top here, or you can also click Course Home to return to this page. So that's the book information, the instructor information, and we do use Connect in this course. So when you create your, I push you a copy of your Connect materials, you will have a unique web address. I find that it's easy to either email the students that email address or simply to put it right here on the main page of PAWS so that they can copy and paste it into their web browser, and they can always access your course using that web address, which I explained in another video, that is unique to your course section. Now, as you continue to scroll down, this Need PAWS help was inserted by our distance education department. This welcome message is a generic message that I've put in, and you can customize it. Put your name in there. If you want to provide more personal greeting, you can certainly do that. Down below is a link to some online tutoring that's accessible to Southwest students, and again, this was provided by our distance education department. So this is the course homepage, and again, you will have access to this in your course after it's cloned. I just want you to have the sneak preview. Across the top, once you have your simple syllabus entered in, right? Simple syllabus is the required syllabus system, very important, and the great thing to the students is they can access that official college syllabus, your syllabus, directly by clicking this link. It will open Simple Syllabus and your particular one so that they can read it. Now, there are many menu options across here that you're going to want to explore. For example, I'm going to skip content and communication for just a moment because there's a lot of things to do here. If I go to assessment, this is your grade book. So you can come down here to grades, and the students can come to grades. Now, as the instructor, you see the grades. The semester hasn't started yet, so we don't have any grades, like a traditional grade book. I can scroll across, and I can see all the assignments. To enter, you can click on this little drop-down box and click Enter Grades, and you can put the grades in. Sometimes instead of viewing the grades in this particular mode, I like to click on Manage Grades, because when I do, I see it. This is how the students tend to see it in this type of vertical view, but it's a very easy way to say how many points are associated with each assignment, how many points total in a particular category. See that? You can even very quickly, how many tests do we have? I mean, it's all lots of really great information. Now, as the instructor and in the instructor view, you do see some things that are hidden from the students, and they're marked by this eyeball with the line crossed out. Okay, but the gradebook is a really great resource. Many things under assessment. You can go to discussions, and you may want to use this for a variety of purposes. I like to have the students post an instruction after we do first day introductions. I have them do this even when they go home, and I give them 5 points for it, because what I find is that students, as well as myself, I like to look back at this as we continue throughout the semester. You might say, you know, who is the student or students who enjoy painting? Which students want to be a YouTube influencer? And you can go back through and try to remember, you know, things about their classmates. And it may be a great leadership activity in particular. So there's lots of editing and things that you can do as the instructor. If you want to see how these things look to the students, what you would do is click on your name and click on View as Banner Student. Now that took me back to the course homepage, but if I went back to Assessment, and let's say as a student, you know, you want to see what does the student see when they go to grades. Well, look at this. They have an app that they can use, and students do tend to like, you know, using the apps on their cell phone. They can see when you put a grade in here, they will immediately know their score, and it's being calculated for them. You know, so this is really great. So every time you put in scores, it alerts them at the top. There's a little bell that kind of lights up, so to speak, so they have all that information. That's what it looks like, though. It's in this vertical view. If I go to Assessment and then Discussions, for example, here's that class introduction. So you see it's a much more clear screen, and they can just click on Class Introduction. And I don't want to do a full course here. I don't want to take up too much time, but you can see it's not open yet. It doesn't open until August 22nd, but once the course was officially open, there would be a button here that they could click to start a new thread. So this is how the students would see it. I'll show you one more thing under assessment before we leave this, and that is when you think about two more things. When you think about assignments, remember that their assignments are largely in the Connect system. That's where the rich resources are, the automated grading and feedback, the interactive ebook, right? So I mean tons of great videos, all types of things that are really great for the students. I do have this one assignment that again is going to start when the semester starts, where I encourage them to complete the end of term evaluation for every Southwest course that they're enrolled in. Then they'll get a confirmation page. They can take a picture of it or print it to a PDF and submit it, and I give them some points for that. So that's something that you can do. Under assessment, I also wanted to briefly show you quizzes. Now again, remember that their work is largely done in the Connect system. And so you're just putting the grades in PAWS and using PAWS as a centralized repository for handouts, for any messages that you want to, share with the students, and for their grades, also for attendance. Okay, so here's this SLO practice quiz, and this is great preparation for that required test that they are going to have to take. This SLO, this is the practice quiz, but the real SLO test is so important. We need that. We need you, any faculty, any adjunct faculty teaching this course or any course that has an associated SLO test, to really get their students to participate in this test. Not as a rush, but as a demonstration of their knowledge in the course. Okay? So this is a great study tool. I have it set to open November 1st through the 28th. Now you may need to adjust this. You probably do need to adjust these dates if your term ends earlier, maybe if it ends later. Okay, so remember, this is the student view. If I need to make adjustments, I need to return to the instructor view, which again I click on my name, and this time I click the X next to viewing as a student. So we've come in, we've looked at the course homepage, we've talked about the syllabus link as a link to simple syllabus, and then we skipped these two and we went over to assessments. Now there's obviously in this instructor view many other things that you can and probably should explore, but these are just kind of the highlights. Now I want to go backwards to communication, and then lastly we'll talk about content. Here's why the communication menu is hugely important. When you click on this and then go to class list, now remember this is before the semester has started, so the students are not loaded into the course. But here's what's great about this view. You see usernames. You will be listed as the teacher, you'll see your Southwest username, and you will see your students listed and their username. Now, why is that important to you? Because maybe as you're trying to help your students get logged into PAWS or even into the My Southwest system, they don't know their username. Okay, you can see that username here. Then open up a new tab in your browser. Go to, this is actually just the my.southwest.tn.edu webpage. They can enter their username up here. If they know their password, they can put that in. But if they don't, look at your options down here. There is a live technical support link. There's a reset password link, a forgot password link, and a first-time users link, as well as help desk support. So if they're first-time users, click that link. This is where it all begins. Okay, so that way they'll have their password and they can get into the My Southwest system. So easy as that. I'm gonna go back to our PAWS system, and that was why I wanted to show you the communication menu, because it was communication and then class list. There's other options inside here that you may want to investigate. Lastly, but most intensely perhaps, I want to show you content. I'm going to click that. As the instructor, remember you're viewing this right now as an instructor, I have some materials for you that are also available through the Connect website under the Instructors tab. So that Connect, those Connect resources, you're going to love them. They even have things like video cases that you can play during class, discuss. There's resources for you. Just as some quick resources that I could easily embed and put at your fingertips, I've put them in this instructor materials hidden from students. And notice there's the little eye, showing that it's hidden. If I click this link, here I see the sample schedule. I've provided it in both a Word format as well as a PDF, just in case you just need to use it as is. But you can download the Word format and change it if your term is not 15 weeks or if it runs slightly different than kind of the traditional schedule. I teach and set up courses in a variety of terms. Your term may different. Be aware of that college calendar. Know when your Southwest term begins and when your Southwest term ends, because that's when the resources begin and end. So under here, Instructor's Manual. So you have all of those chapters. I tried to make them just fast and easy for you. In terms of availability. Here's the PowerPoints, and these are actually PowerPoint formatted, so you can download these, customize them, use them for your class. Now if I was in the student view, remember these are all hidden, and I'm going to go back to content, and notice that the student view, they would not see that. I'm going to go back to the instructor view. And I'm going to go back to content. So I will encourage you, once the course clone is available, look at those materials and look under Getting Started. I'm just going to show you a few things that are important here. Here is where the student will see a link directly to that discussion for the introduction. So you can have them do that. Here's where they're going to see an assignment that says, listen, go to and you're going to have to provide them with your Connect web address so they can open that course and go in and create their username. Now remember, if you're unless your school, your students opted out, then participating in this inclusive access means that all your students have their book on the first day. They have the ebook, they have access to that rich smart book, the interactive book. They have access to their other assignments that we're going to see in just a moment, test prep, quiz, and these application activities. So have them, as soon as they can, create that Connect username and password. To incentivize them, I give them a few points. Graded, see here's graded assignments. And so I'm trying to emphasize to them that these are graded. Now, if they need some help in PAWS, our library has created a series of videos. They can click this link and go to a playlist. It tells them how to navigate PAWS. For Connect, maybe they need help understanding how their grades work. This explains that you have to manually type them into PAWS. Links to help you get started. This is all kinds of links that you can explore. What if they run into a problem, something is not working? There's an 800 number. I'll click this one real quickly so you can see it. They have multiple ways that they can contact. They can even go online for support. And there's the 800 number. Now, I can either click Content or Table of Contents. Kind of the same thing. I go back to the beginning. So that was Getting Started. PAWS Help, Connect Help. Now I want to show you the chapters. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. Each of the chapters is going to follow this format so that the student sees the learning objectives for that chapter and they see a PDF of the slides. Now these are not the notes that go with the slides, it's just the large picture of the slides. I find when I teach, I customize my materials so much that them having the slides doesn't necessarily change. It doesn't allow them to skip ahead, for example. And I do have a lot of students who just want the comfort of knowing that they have access to these slides. But once they get into these assignments, they really don't need or really have time to look at these slides. These smart book assignments, they take time, but they are so interactive and purposeful that as your students read, they really are going to be saying, now what does that mean and how does that relate, because they can answer questions as they go. And indeed, it's their book, but it is an assignment, so they need to answer those questions. There is a test prep quiz. This is exactly what it says. It's designed to get them into that testing mode. It's automatically graded. The Smart Book is automatically graded. They are getting their feedback immediately. That incentivizes them. The third homework assignment that they'll have, and some of these you can do in class. Sometimes I will use an application activity as a springboard for a class. I will pull it up on a projector, or I'll say, okay, work in pairs or in like this row is a team type thing, and collaborate so that you complete the application activity together. Then we'll go through it. Now, application activities, what are they? They can be different types of assignments. Sometimes when they're available, I use simulation activities. Those are great. The student, in essence, assumes a character, and they're asked questions, and they're presented with information, and they are making decisions based on what they learned in that chapter. Sometimes it's a matching assignment, or sometimes it's a short video where there's questions about the video. So those are really great. In this particular chapter, I have a supplemental resource, Your Learning Style. You can certainly add add resources to the chapters if you want. If I go to Chapter 2, I just want to show you it follows the same format. The student learning outcomes, the slides, and then, what is this? It says in Connect. So if they click on one of these, I'll click that. It says each SmartBook is a required assignment, but what's this first sentence? You need to go to Connect so that you can do that SmartBook assignment. Okay, SmartBook is both a book where you read and an assignment that requires you to answer questions. But really what it's telling them consistently is you got to do the work in Connect. This is your touch point to tell you what you need to be doing as we begin Chapter 2, especially if you're following a schedule. Here's test number 1 so they can see that it comes after Chapter 4. And I'm going to scroll up just a little bit. Here's some test instructions. Now this is a web page. I'm in the instructor view. If you need to change something, edit something, you can certainly do that here. So you can edit. The students cannot edit. But the test, where is the test? Well, the test is going to be in Connect. And so that's what those instructions are saying. And then it's reminding the students, look, you're not done. You still have to keep working on your assignments. I could go through, you'll see these, but I want to come down here. Here's that SLO study tool. This is that quiz that we looked at when we went under assessment and quizzes. So they don't have to look all over the place. It's right here for them. Now again, if you need to change the dates, you know where to go and how to do that. This document, this is a web page. It explains the practice quiz, tells them what they need to do. They don't earn points, explains how it's a study tool, and explains that as they do this practice study tool, they're going to see some of the real test questions blended in with some test bank questions. So it's a great study tool. Helps them prepare and do their best. Why? Because looking ahead, only a few more chapters, and then you have the required test. So how are they going to take this required SLO test? Well, you can have your students take it in the classroom, but you don't want to rush them in 5 minutes to take this. You also do not want to make this a group project. In other words, we don't all get to collaborate on one person's test and everybody put down A for, don't do that, right? What we really need to do is just like we would any test. Every student takes his or her test individually, right? They sit next to each other, but it's not a group activity. We don't share answers, for example. So we need to assess what the students know. We want them to prepare using the SLO quiz that's already in your PAWS system for you. And then these instructions are explaining to them. And it says, listen, when you log in to My Southwest, right, to this system here, this is what you're going to look for. You're going to look for this icon. When you click it, and if you have to change the dates that this is available, you know how to do that. Click on this and edit, and you can change those dates. You need to make sure they have completed this before your term ends. When your term ends, the test ends because the semester is over. The term is over. So make sure you update the dates. Now, as they go through, there's some important things you want to talk to them about, such as that they have only one attempt. You can't reset it. I can't reset it. They have only one attempt. So there's a password. This is what I use. You will need to set this on your SLO test. And in a separate video, I tell you how to do this. It's very easy, very straightforward. Once you do it once, you'll say, okay, no problem. If you want to use a different password, please do. Just click edit and change your instructions. So single set, how much time do they have? All that, it's right here for them. And again, I fully expect that you're going to have to make some adjustments to this to meet your needs. So please feel free to do that. Trying to make it as set up for you and as convenient as possible. Okay, so SLO test, this is their third test. I would encourage your students, I hope you do too, to evaluate you. Important for your records. Have them, this is what I do. If you look at these SET instructions, here's what I have them do. I give them bonus points, but look at this. If you complete all your evaluations, so if they're enrolled in more than one course with Southwest, then I say, you know what, evaluate all of them. When you do, I'll give you some bonus points when you show me or submit that the confirmation page. And I even tell them, I used to give these detailed instructions, and so I just leave them in here. Nowadays, what they tend to do is just use their cell phone to take a picture of the screen with the confirmation. That's fine. There's many ways that they can show you that they've completed that. I'll leave that to you, but I have some instructions already here and available for you. Okay, now you can see there's extra things, but they are hidden just for time purposes, and these are things that have changed over the years. So anyway, you can explore those if you want, but they're just really not in use. So content, as they say, is king, and this is where a lot of your information is. Course Home takes you back to the main page. Again, syllabus, simple syllabus, communication, and then class list is where you'll see the usernames. Assessments, the students like to look at their grades as soon as they earn them. They want them faster, right? But what I do is after the due date, I go to Connect, I look at their grades, I just type them into PAWS. Very straightforward. So you have all that information here. Make sure you have figured out how they're going to access the book. I hope that they are participating in the inclusive access where, again, it's that volume discount for the ebook, which is integrated with those assignments. All right, so I'll stop the video here. I realize I've been going on, but hopefully this helps you in advance of the cloning date see your course. Thank you.